Good morning, everyone. This is Sean Butner with Start Your Morning with the Coach. Start your day with the Coach. I am a certified high performance coach here to help you get motivated for the day. And it's Monday, so motivated for the week. If you're joining me, be sure to follow, like, subscribe wherever you're watching this video. If you like it, if you don't, then just keep going. No worries. Today, I wanted to talk about what to do when we don't know what the next steps are. And this is a common thing that I've seen in a lot of my clients, with a lot of students. It's happened with me a bunch of times too. And the ability to realize, hey, I don't know where I'm going, what direction I'm taking in my life, what I'm fighting for, and to be able to suss that out quickly, ultimately is what leads to success. You know, if you're constantly just at the whim of wherever the winds take you, that's fine and relaxed and cool and all, but, you know, you might end up one day thinking, like, how did I get here? How am I this person that does this thing when I told myself when I was, young that I would never that I would never be exactly like my parents, if that's their thing. I would never be in a career where I did things that I didn't really, feel my full heart in. So, you work at a corporation that is evil, I guess. I was trying to come up with something funny as an example, but we'll keep moving on. Hey Dave, how's it going, man? Glad to see you on the live cast today. So, for me, like, part of trying to figure out the next steps, I think it's a very timely thing because of all the uncertainty out in the world right now with COVID, with Black Lives Matter, with all the crazy things that I've been seeing online on, up in Portland and all, with unmarked police officers taking people off the street and stuff. That does not look really awesome, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on up there. But, there's a lot of uncertainty, regardless if you pay attention to the news. I will not echo any of that anymore in this cast, because you can go read it. But there's a lot of uncertainty there. There's a lot of uncertainty on, jobs and the economy and, what do you want to be when you grow up? It took me years and years and years to get on the track that I think I needed to be on, that I was supposed to be on. And it took me trying a bunch of different things to finally settle on, I like these bits of this, I don't like these bits of this. And eventually, 37 years later, I'm like, okay, I think I finally know what I'm going to dedicate myself to in my career, with someone that I'm, dedicated to, which is my wife. So, where are you not entirely clear on your next steps? And this is a really important question, too, because, there's that idea that if you have vision, then you can be successful. There's a lot of different things that kind of talk about that. But that idea that he or she who has vision will survive, and without vision, you perish. I think that's some big book quoted that. It's really important to have a process to get you back on track when you feel a little bit lost. And so I have 3 ideas to help you with that. So we'll just jump right into it, right? No talking around it. First thing to do is to make sure you have like some morning reflection time. And really what that's all about is, so many times it's wake up, get ready for work, you jump in the car, or wake up, get caught in some morning distractions, and then, you don't kind of come to until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're like, man, I put on Netflix before breakfast, and I'm still watching, reruns of The Office, say. So this idea that you wake up, you can do a couple of things to get ready. I personally love, a cup of coffee, and I start thinking about what to talk about today. And on the days that I'm really good at that, the show's much better, and the days not, then it's a little bit more loose. But having that time to kind of think through the day, think through the weeks, think through the next, month and year regularly is a really great way to say, hey, am I directing my life in the direction I want it? And if, I don't know what it is, take some time to just dream again, I think, if there's one thing that lockdown taught us is that we had been moving at such a quick pace, and to have everyone collectively slow down, take a breath, and say, hey, is this really okay? Is what I'm doing day to day really okay? And I think that's a really important question we should all be asking ourselves as high performers who are trying to get better. But it really, I think, with everything slowing down, I think it really kind of hit that point home. And having some type of reflection time, some time where it's slow, where you can, again, dream and imagine your future, imagine what it might be like, imagine what you would need to do to grab it, will help you, one, get clear on where you're going, and two, get clear on what you need to do to realize it. So the second thing to do that I really love is to self-coach, right? So if you have that reflection time, you know where you're going, then it's one of my favorite exercises in the high performance work I do is to imagine, and you can do this right now. So if you have something you're trying to accomplish, if you close your eyes and imagine someone 5 years from now that is you, right? Who is successful, who has accomplished it, who is happy, who is, well balanced, that has their health in order, has their family and relationships in order, has their career rocking. They're just, the best version of yourself in 5 years. If you imagine that person standing right next to you right now saying, hey, kid, you know what? This is what you need to be doing now. What would that person say right now? And heed that advice, because I think so many times, at least in coaching, people know what they need to do, but they can't realize it for themselves for whatever reason. Maybe you're just too close to it. But to think of your future self talking to you now makes it a little bit less direct, and that self-talk, which a lot of times the best ideas come out of that. So, if you're struggling with how to get where you're going, do this self-coaching exercise and just see what will come up. Or think if you had someone that was a friend that was exactly in this situation and you had to give them advice, what advice would you give them? That's another way to go about it if it's too weird to imagine your 5-year-old self in the future, not just 5 years old. It would probably be a lot of different advice, like eat more candy or something, if it was your actual 5-year-old self. Anyways, moving on. Third thing to do is to really brainstorm what are your values? What do you believe in? What are you for? And how is that showing up in the world, right? If you're I don't know what to do with my career, and you know that you really love to help people, you know that you really want to do something in science, well, maybe doing something in the medical field would be for you. Or if you're hey, I love working with kids, or I love writing, maybe it's, becoming a teacher or working on becoming an author. It's not super rocket science. It's pretty obvious. So I don't want to beat that around. But a lot of times, again, people know things, but they don't put them into practice, right? There's that disconnect of common sense isn't common action. So, what would you need to do to live into your values a bit more? If your best self were to show up, would you be more generous, right? If generous was one of your values, generosity, how could you do that in a career? Maybe that's hospitality. Maybe it's owning your own business. I don't know, but that's for you to figure out. But knowing what your values are, knowing what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel energized, what makes you feel excited to wake up in the morning is a good hint on the things that you should be doing next. So to tie it all up again, you want to have a reflection time in the morning. You need to self-coach and give yourself advice, or a friend who's exactly like you but not you advice. And you really need to think about what are the best values you have and how can you live into those so that you feel energized and awesome at the end of the day. So Hope you guys loved this video. I loved sharing it with you. We'll be here tomorrow morning again at 8 o'clock-ish Pacific Standard Time. And thank you. Go out there, have more joy, more personal growth, and impact in your communities. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.